Well, we've come from down there where the hut is in the distance, and we're taking a very boggy trip up towards these waterfalls and the Munro, and we'll see what happens today. Anything could happen. I mean, she's all over the place. She should tire. Very boggy, very mushy, which you expect. It's Highlands this time of year. There is a track somewhere. What I've done, I've come from the hut, so I'm going to bear to the left and pick up the track. The stag is way in the distance to my rear there, so he's out of range. I released her when she was well out of the way. These two were calm. She's just got to learn a lot. At least it'll burn a lot of energy off her and tire her out. Things I've got to keep an eye out for: any drop-offs, deer, and just, you know, normal hazards. But I'm hoping this energy in the first 10 minutes of burn rebel. Believe it or not, that's playing. Believe it or not, look. They've got yellow jackets on, one, so I can see where they are, but two, it's still stalking season and there is a stalking area around here. She is going to be so small and so tiny, and if I see any people around or whatever, I'll put her straight on the lead. But I'm hoping the yellow jackets will kind of stand out so much that any shooter or anything around will realise they're dogs and not deer. That's the plan. I'm going to have to, look at her, digging holes in the peat. Completely off her head, isn't she? Yeah, oh, I thought she was going to run straight into rebel. But they'll be tired. She'll be tired and worn out. That's what she needs. Look at her. Anyone watching would think that's violence. That's not. That's just play. Right, off we go. Wish me luck. I'm going to need it. I've got my personal locator beacon with me and a camera and my phone, obviously. There is some reception in spots around here, so that's not too bad. Personal locator beacon for obvious reasons. Anything else? No, I haven't got. Because otherwise I'd be carrying so much up here. And I'm not planning to stay or camp or anything like that. Right, see you up there or on the way. See what we see along the way. Thankfully that's not connected. Otherwise I'm sure the dogs will get a nice nasty shock. Chaos, of course. Don't forget, this is their first time ever in the Highlands, so that energy is going to be all over the place, isn't it? Because she don't know how to behave, how to cope with it. Just imagine you've been in a city, and before that you were in a built-up area as well, and then all of a sudden you're let loose in the Highlands. So of course you're going to be a fool, aren't you? Oh dear. Just got to make sure that energy is not too crazy. I expect to get wet. I expect to get soaked. Don't know if you can see the hut right in the distance. Not a soul about. That's how I like it. I'm sure the mist and all that will come in. It'll make it even more fun. Oh, what am I going to do with her? Still chugging along. I was looking at this fencing. It's new fencing. I've seen some posts down near the river. So they're obviously setting this up to electrify it to keep the deer away. Because we've got trees over there. So they're giving it fair enough distance, I guess, to keep the deer away. So it hasn't been set up yet. And they've got a wooded area there, so I wonder if they're going to fence that off as well. Because they're trying to save a lot of the woodland there, aren't they? Because the deer are just destroying it. Hence the stalking, it has to be done. Shame, but it has to be done. She isn't calming down yet. Look at her. Makes me laugh. Every now and then she stops like she desperately needs a drink. There's water everywhere, but she needs a drink. I've got my waterproofs on, my gaiters. My boots will get wet and my feet will get wet, but I knew that. I'm wearing these purposely because I've got a nice toasty fire, and these sealskin socks were drying probably an hour. And I've got about 3 pairs anyway, so I'm not worried. I've got winter boots, but I'm going to leave them for the winter. They're not the temperatures are not bad at all now. So your feet ain't, look at them. What am I going to do? Maybe I should have got a poodle or something. Right, we better trudge on before she digs a hole and covers me in water. Hey, hey, your water's splashing me. Perfect dog for the Highlands though. She's just got boundless energy. And she's got a lot of strength as well. She looks small and fragile, she's anything but, trust me. Look at her. He's so good. I mean, if I was... Hey, hey! Look, is this one spot? Rogue, leave it! Sorry for shouting then, but... Oh dear. Right, I'm getting a headache. Where we're going, we'll be doing this Malinois. I came for the waterfalls, which are over there. So when we get to the top there, have a look. Oh dear. I'm getting too old for this. Have you tried walking up a boggy trail? Fog, mist, the odd drizzle, with 3 Malinois, 1 old one, which you got to take slow, 1 not so old, these coats all over. Rebel! Get here! Just seeing your coats all over the place. And 1 absolutely crazy man. Rebel, get here! I've got to do this coat. Now you can see where we come from, by the river, right down the bottom. There's sunshine over there, cloud and sunshine over there, I think, in the distance, but we're going amongst the mist. I was aiming for them waterfalls, but I'm following this what, quad bike or whatever was it? Quad vehicles or whatever they are. Not the normal ones you get on the farms, these big wheeled kind of special Highland ones. And we're going to end up doing this Malinois. Might as well, might we, while we're here. You think she'll tire? After probably 3 weeks here. She's eating all the grass, drinking all the dirty water. Trying to antagonise Rebel every moment. Stella's doing well. I'm just taking it nice and slow so Stella doesn't overdo it. The ground's really soft, so it should be good for her. It's wet, but when we get back, she'll get a nice fire. Look at these 2. Oh dear. Thank you, Stella. And they're beautiful, eh? Nice easy day, hopefully. And famous words. The one place you can have your dog barking and no one complaining about. Meanwhile, Stella, oh sorry, you're zoomed in. You're getting faster. We just watch them tire themselves out in the distance. It looks like we're doing this Malinois. I don't know why or how, but we're getting pushed over it. That's what I was looking at, the waterfalls. Uh-oh. Someone got hurt. Didn't see it. Probably a nip. She's probably getting too much. Uh-oh. Let's have a look at her leg. She does this. If she gets a little nick or something, she starts acting like there's a war zone. Oh dear. You see the look in the distance. It's so close, but it's so far. The river, I mean. My waterfalls keep getting further away because we're going this one. Right, we're going straight up. Going for it. I'll tell you what the name is if I can figure it out. Sorry, I'm leaving you all over the place there. It's windy. I apologise for the wind noise. I've got a beacon of light there coming through the cloud. It's a shine on me. I've got deer to the right and I had some deer on the tops over there. But as high as nearly as high as that waterfall. Wow. Don't look it, does it? It's all dead ground. It's really weird. Looks like a gentle slope. I forget, still haven't checked the name of this Beinn Toaig Corbett. Rebel! He's picking the deer up. Sorry for shouting. You're probably getting wind noise. I'm trying to think an easy way up. There is no easy way, is there? I'll probably go there and skirt over the top. And stay off the rocks. They're greasy as anything. I was telling Stella a minute ago she was walking on one. Rebel! Yeah. Got deer tracks. I don't think it's walkers. Looks like deer track. A lot of deer droppings as well. It's quite chilly up here. Yeah, the sun's following us up the hill. Up the mountain, shall I say. Looks like a hill. I will find the name. What a beautiful day. Well, it's down there. We're now level with the waterfalls. We still got to go up. Just keeps going. Rogue! She's eating deer. I know she's eating deer poo. Well, it will come out one way or the other. So you got Loch Dochard over that way. That's Loch Tula, I believe. Can't remember the river, sorry. I will. I keep saying I'll tell you the name of this. I keep forgetting to check it on the map. I'll probably have to put the name, when we get to the top, it'll be that windy, I'll probably have to put the name on the screen. But I was aiming for them waterfalls, so I will go over there to this edge and take some lovely photos, but maybe we'll do that tomorrow, see how the weather is. Or we might walk over to Loch Tula and walk along there and see what it's like along there. I didn't realise the loch was that close. So it's burning, or is it mist? It looks like burning down there, doesn't it? There is a farmhouse or whatever somewhere around there in amongst the trees. I saw it when I was on one of these Munros last winter. Sorry about the wind noise. Got to keep an eye on her now. Every now and then I put on lead when I think there might be deer around one of the tops. Plenty of water anyway. The only thing I didn't bring was water. Oh, that was stellar. We've got deer over on the right. I'm looking for the summits in the cloud. I believe the summit is somewhere around there in mist. I'll find it. It's Beinn Toaig, or Beinn Toaig. You too, this way. Rogue. So, gonna make a beeline for the summit, which is somewhere there. Keeps getting covered in mist. There is deer around, so I'm gonna have to put on a lead soon. So I'm gonna have to be careful. I'm hoping to scare them all away. I'll definitely put on a lead when we get near the summit, because I don't know what's on the other side. That's our target up the top there. Focus. 1 dog, 2 dog, and there's a third somewhere here. I need to get a jacket for her because she blends in really well. I think that's an eagle. It's big. Don't look it on here. Wow. Oh, wish I had a better camera. Gonna have to get my one out, ain't I? Into the mist we go. Summit's somewhere beyond there. If we can see it. But down there, whew, we're getting up with the clouds now. Or where this cloud base is. Beautiful. Take my time, one for stanner, but also take it easy on there. Just enjoy the views. It's not a race, is it? Especially at my age. Woo! Summit's somewhere just beyond there. Keeps going in cloud and mist, but clouds more or less on us. But look down there, beautiful. If I'm correct, that tree line there over the other side of the river, going sloping up there, is where we pitched last winter with a hot tent. And we walked along the track, along the river to Loch Dochard, which is somewhere around there. If that is not it in the distance, probably the end of it. But I don't know if I said, this is Beinn Toaig, 845 metres. I don't know if that makes it a Munro. Probably. It's a stunning day. We've been lucky. The rain, touch wood, is laid off. Even though all this cloud bank is in. So as long as we can get to the top before it rains, like, that's what I'm saying. Look how the mist comes in. It'll be nice and spooky out there. After having on a lead in a minute. Once we get on the top here. Heading to the summit, somewhere up there. We're in mist. But the slope, a real steep slope. Good job I put her on a lead. There's a right drop off there. We came from that way. And whoa, we're now following along that way. Keep an eye on them two as well. Only got one lead. Stella won't do anything crazy. Rebel might if he sees deer. To the summit. I've put Trouble on a lead because I just saw that there was all mist. Look at the drop up there. It's a pretty steep one. Should go over there, see something, woof, down. So we don't want that. We've come from that way, down the left there. So, not far to go now. I've got to check on the map. That's what we're heading for, that summit there. We came from down there somewhere. Who's got the map? And look, you've got bathing facilities here. It's a bit stinky, sweat, filthy looking. So, beeline straight up there, and there should be a trig point, I hope. After all this, there better be, otherwise no one will believe we did it. We're going. I've got on the lead still because it's very misty. I don't want to lose her. And that's where we're aiming for. It looks a long way away, but see, it's not too bad, I don't think. There should be a trig point up there, but we're in the mist. Who's got the map to get back there? Rebel, you got the map and the compass. Right, let's push on before it gets too late. Are you kidding me? Isn't it? On the map I'm here. It's the highest point. I was expecting a cane. Well, you wouldn't know, would you? Woo, it's cold. I'll check there, but this is higher than that, I'm sure. And it looks like someone's put a pile there to show it, mark it. Wow. Freezing. 834 metres, sorry. Correction. That's all the way I walked for. A pile of about 10 rocks. $834 metres. I don't know what that makes it in feet. I'm going to check over there just in case I've missed the real summit. On our way down, we're at the 650 mark. There's another 200 metres to go up there, and it was really wild, really rough. It wasn't going up, it was nice and clear, and then all of a sudden the mist came in, it started drizzling. The wind speeds picked up, even the dogs were feeling the cold. Very quick, it changes. So we're back down to the 650 mark, near the needle. It comes to a point here, we go down this slope here carefully, and I can then release Rogue, and we can take a nice steady stroll down, hopefully. But yeah, the clouds all come in. They're happy. She's on the lead still until I know it's safe. Right, oh look, see how it blows through. It's trying to blow through now. And look, suddenly it clears. Plenty of deer about. We're following this buggy track. It will lead us to the track that takes us down to the hut. Quicker to go cross country, but it's worse. So this ground has all been pushed down with a buggy, so it's safer to walk on. The deer are watching us still. They're moving on. Good. Yeah, it seems like rutting season's over. They seem quite calm. Hard work coming down. Very, very boggy. And you've got to watch your feet because otherwise you're over. And it's raining. It's a mix between mist and rain. Right, pushing on. Same Rogue. What she's been doing is been going ahead of us and scenting. And I thought, oh, she's just picking deer up or something like that. But then every now and then she'll go off a little bit and then come back on the track. And what it is when we came up and she was acting a fool and running around with Rebel, she'd go off, then she'd go back on the track. And now she knows we're going back to the hut. She's actually retracing. Sorry, you're probably all out of fog there. She's scented. She's been going ahead of us all the way down. Once we got on this track, because this is where we came up, and she knows from the scent it's leading her back to the hut, which is warmth, food and rest. Clever girl. Go on then, Rogue, show us the way. She will in a minute. She won't do it on camera though. Typical, isn't it? She's ate so much deer poo. Her poor tummy. I give up. Very, very clever dog. Look at Rogue leading. I'm not told her to do that. She's picking up, she's on the trail. She's picking her old scent when we went up. and she's following it back. Now, she could go anywhere. She could go left, she could go right, she could stay behind us. And don't worry, there's deer trails everywhere. But she'll pass us in a minute. There you go. And she's staying on the track, look. And she'll get in front of Rebel to lead the way. Whereas Rebel used to do that. And don't forget, she's only 10 months old. But she knows there's a nice warm hut and food. Oh, shall we go back on the track in a minute? After scenting, she's marking territory as well. That's another thing I noticed she'd do. Let's see if she does. Watch. I bet you she'll take me all the way to the door. Hope that stag isn't at the hut though. That'll cause me problems, won't it? So she's not lacking confidence, is she? Wanting to lead, wanting to show leadership. And I've not told her, I've not said a word to her. I'm just trudging back nice and quietly. I'm worn out. Been hard going in this bog and slushing marshy ground. Even on this. Don't know if you can see it and hear it. Just a quagmire. Bet if we stopped and went left or right, she'll be confused. Oh. I'm filming and walking, it's not advisable. Right, look at her go. Oh. She knows the hut's up there. And don't forget, we've only been here a day. Oh, oh dear, she's off. She's gone, I want my hot fire and some food. Right, I'll see you at the hut. I'll let you know if she takes me to the door. He's back again. Guess who's back outside the buffet? Or outside the hut, sorry. Look at him. I could touch him if I open the window. I think he'll look. There he goes, look. Looking right at me. Hope you don't decide to ram the windows. Oh God. Got to be careful with letting the dogs out now. He's back out. Oh, he's a so-and-so, isn't he? Obviously someone's been feeding him and he's learnt to hang around here. Big fluffy bottom. Oh, he'll scare me if I walk out there in the middle of the night again. Just standing here brewing a coffee and heard a bump. I thought, wouldn't that be funny if it was the stag's antlers against the cabin? And lo and behold, it's the stag's antlers against the cabin. Spooky. 6, day 2. Didn't have much dinner. I had such a late lunch. Lie down, you lot. Lie down. See, as soon as I start talking, they'll get up. Lie down, Rebel. Lie down. She's joining in now. But as I say, yeah, I had late lunch because I got off that Beinn Toaig. Beinn Toaig. I will put the name out again. But that Monroe anyway. I think we got back about 3 o'clock. So I had some to eat once I've sorted them out, got the jackets off and got them all dried off and everything like that. Got the fire going just to get the warmth in the room. It's not a cold day, it's not cold in the hut, but decided to get the fire going. That'll cool it, warm them up and dry them right off, and it's worked like a treat. Stella's a bit stiff, obviously. Whoops. I found out what happened was, I know it sounds stupid, but I brought 2 dog beds up because I had to ground Rogue, nearly forgot her name. I had to ground her. So what I mean by that is, if I didn't have dog beds, she wouldn't know where to settle in this because it's not a familiar room. So I'd be telling her to lie down, then she'd be going over there, I'd tell her to lie down back here. So by bringing dog beds in that she has at home, she'll have some of the ground, you know, she'll know where to go straight into the bed. So I did that, and then I thought to myself, no, if I bring one up, the other two will fight over the bed. It's common sense, you know, you bring one bed out, everyone wants a bed. So what I did is brought two up. Now the thing is, I thought it would be exactly like this. Rogue would be in that one, Rebel would be in that one, and then Stella could move and spread out in this, yeah? Which meant she wasn't so cramped because, you know, being in the bed on one side and cramped up, then she'll get stiff. But what she's been doing is going in one of the beds and, as you saw, stopping for several hours, and then when you, it's like me or you, if we've been hiking all day and then we lie on one of our legs, you know, then you'll go stiff, and that's making it worse. It's nothing to do with so much with the problem with arthritis, is just exaggerating it because she's been lying still on one spot. But I thought if she lied like she is now on the dog bed, one of the dog beds that I use when we're hiking, then she can move about, you know, can shift from side to side. And that's the biggest problem with the dog. They would just lie in one spot, and they'll lie in one spot for several hours. And that's what causes like that dead leg system. So as soon as she stiffens up and kind of numbs herself, then when getting up, it looks worse than it is. What I'll do, sorry, excuse me, dust in here. What I'll do is I'll give her a paracetamol. The vet said you can give her half a paracetamol when, you know, when she's feeling it more than others. So hence when we've been up Monroe's. Yeah, maybe it was a bit too much, but at the end of the day, she loved it. And she didn't look like weren't happy until all three of them were on the summit, and all three of them looked cold up there. So that was the idea with the dog beds. Trust me, it was such a pain in the backside getting these dog beds. Because I had a bag in one hand, dog beds in the other, and I was still holding these three on a lead. So imagine that. So I had a great day. As I say, didn't plan to go any Monroe. I wanted to go out and see the waterfalls. But because we'd pushed up on the right hand side of the river, we kept getting pushed up further to the right. I ended up aiming towards the Monroe, so I thought we might as well do it. It's there, so we might as well do it. So I'm nice and chilled. It must be about 20 degrees in this hut, and I'm not kidding you. It was 21 yesterday, so it's got to be around there today. See what I mean? Oh, I thought she was going to lie flat out, because if she lies flat out rather than cooped up, then it's much easier on her leg. But she's fine. You'll see it tomorrow once she starts moving. See, that's what she does. She'll lie there, like Rebel's doing now. And she'll lie like that for 2 hours. And then, of course, when she gets up, just like me or you, you're going to feel it. But with the fire and the heat, I thought she'd lie more flatter with the legs out. Anyway, that's enough of that. Talking about Rogue, I said I'd talk more about her. Where to start? Rogue, I got off, I say a friend, but it was someone that bought one of my pups many years, when I say my pups, Rebel and Stella's pups, many years ago. Probably about 4 years ago. Anyway, we kept in contact, and I was trying to get a dog, and because I knew Stella was getting old, and you know, the time would come when I would have to say goodbye to her, like as such. So I was looking for a dog, and I did try one other dog, a Dutch herder, and that didn't work out, sadly. Lovely dog, but just, don't know, there's a lot of problems. It didn't show the problems, but there was problems. But that's another story in itself. Shame. But anyway, then the lady that I'm talking about, that was, I say a friend, as we kept in touch. She contacted me out of the blue and says, "Are you still looking for a dog?" I says, "Well, I am and I'm not, because Stella looks fine at the moment. But what I want to do is get ready, you know, because if suddenly Stella goes, Rebel's going to miss her like God knows what, and trust, you know, I'm going to miss her as well. And plus, once Stella goes, I've got to train a pup out, and that's going to take me months, you know what I mean? So I'm going to lose all that valuable time on the mountains with Rebel and out hiking and everything. So she says she's got a little girl, but she is small. She says she's classed as like the runt of the litter, like I've said before, which I don't like it. It always sounds a bit harsher than it is, but it's what people use, and it's a term that's carried on, isn't it? Basically, it's the smallest of the litter. And what happened, I think, is she had a litter. She sold all the other pups, but of course, the smallest in the... That's what I want Stella to do. So she spread out more. It'd be better for her. And of course, no one wants the smallest one, do they? They all want the biggest, chunkiest, fattest, fittest, whatever it looks like, you know. But it's a load of rubbish, isn't it? Because the dog turns out what you make it. So when she offered me the chance to have this dog, I says, well, I'll come down and have a look at it. But yeah, I'm keen, you know what I mean? Because I thought, you know, why? But I think the story made sense further as it got along. I went down, saw her, and I thought, oh, what a small little thing. And she was much smaller than she is now. And I said, yeah, I'll have her. But I says, I've got to go and take Stella to Sandwood Bay, take her to the coast one last time, because I thought, you know, the way Stella was looking, I don't think I got much time with her. So I thought, I'll give her one last go, Stella. And then I come back, I pick the pup up, and because I'd already tested my dogs when I'd gone down there a couple of weeks earlier and looked after the house for this lady and her husband, and I wanted to see how my dogs got on with her dogs, plus how my dogs got on with Rogue, and it all went brilliant. So I'd already done a tester to make sure I weren't going to make one big mistake. So I brought her back, and basically what happened is, I think this lady, my friend, whatever you like to call it, I think they had 4 males, and I think basically because she was the smallest and the youngest, the others were getting exercise more than her. The others were getting training and as such, and she was missing out. And that's no negative point against my friend. It was the fact that if you've got 4 males, you've got a family with children, you've got jobs, you've got a house to look after and all that. I think 4 males is just too much. Now, I've got 3 males, but one's really old, you know, so she doesn't give me that much problem at all. And plus, I'm retired and I've got all the time in the world, and I've got a big house all by myself, so I can actually put the dogs in, and there's no restrictions with like children and issues like, you know, being worried about the dogs getting too carried away with the children and so on. So, as I was saying, I think it was just, she kept one. I know what happened. When you have a litter and one doesn't sell, you get attached to it. And at the end of the day, I think she got attached to it. But then as the months went by and it started growing, she realised, I've probably got too many dogs, and I've probably overstretched it. And that's what I think has happened. Because when I was looking after the dogs down at her house, this lady's house, I was getting up in the middle of the night to let Rogue out, and there was another one that wanted to go out. And I always do that with mine, you know, give them a chance to go out through the night so you don't have any accidents or anything like that. And it's always worked with me, and I've never had any problems. But when the lady came back and I was chatting to her, she said, oh no, we never do this, you know. And I thought, wow, that's a bit strange, because Rogue wants to go out every night. The other thing is, I said to Rogue, and the other dogs were barking like God knows what. And what it is a dog will bark if it wants to seek attention, you know. If it wants food, it will bark. If it wants to go out, it'll bark. If you give it a habit, you know, of barking, it'll bark for everything to tell you what to do. And that's the dogs taking over control. So when a Rogue came to my house, she started doing the same tactics, like barking, I want food, barking, I want to go out, barking this, barking that. So I stopped that straight away. And what I did, again, I grounded her. What I mean by that is I put her in the Platts position, or the lie-down position. Every time she misbehaves, she'll come to me. I put her in the lie-down position and say, calm down, stay, you know. And just give her a few seconds to just calm down. If she didn't, I'd put her back in the line, back in the line, back in the line. And trust me, I have to do it hundreds of times sometimes through the days, just to get her to calm down and stop this attitude. Because I'd just stand there and I would not give her what she wanted. I would make her lie down, then I'd send her back to her bed. And what I was doing is grounding her again and saying, no, this is not an attitude that's going to get you kind of, any attention. So I got that stopped, and that's more or less gone. Another thing is when she was on the lead, she was pulling like crazy. And let's be honest, a dog that's 9 months old should be lead trained by then. So again, I think my friend was putting the dogs in the car, taking them out to a nice fields that got nearby, letting the dogs have a good run around, putting the dogs back in the car and going back home. Not because she was lazy, but because she had so much stuff to do in the home with the kids, with her job, with her husband, and so much that she didn't have time to do the actual lead training. And she did tell me at the time she does pull on the lead, so I did know that was coming. Again, I stopped that. I use a pinch collar, prong collar, whatever. Some people don't like them. At the end of the day, I use it on all my dogs. If I'm on a ledge up on the Munros, if I'm near a drop-off or something like that, them collars come in so much handy. Any collar, a flat collar, can be just as bad as any other collar. It's down to the user, how you use them with your dogs. So it's like anything in life. You put a normal lead, a slip lead, around a dog's neck. If you start yanking like crazy or pulling it or hanging it, you're just as bad as anything else. So it's down to user again. You know what I mean? If you're going to be bad, you're going to destroy your dogs, and you're going to cause so many problems. So I always use pinch collars, prong collars. I'm in an inner city area. We get drunks, we get drug addicts. You come across them in the street, come across them in the parks. Sadly, it's way of life. They're out of their heads. They don't know what they're doing. Sometimes they goad the dogs. It happens in life, trust me. If I had 3 dogs or 2 dogs on a normal flat collar and trying to hold them back, it doesn't matter if I was 30 or 20 or whatever, I would have a job holding them back when they go. But with the pinch leads or the prong collar, I can tug them, little tug, and say no. You know what I mean? Come on. And I can get them to back off, even though the idiot might be a fool and deserve to be bitten. The laws in the UK are totally different. Just because someone's an idiot doesn't give them the right to be bitten. So I stopped the barking, I stopped the pulling, and now looking at her, because she was the smallest in the litter and because she hasn't had so much training, I would say physically she's 3 months behind her age, and I'd also say mentally and psychologically she's 3 months behind her age. She hasn't had that advancement, that all dogs as they're growing up should have. They should grow out stages. So even though she's now 10 months, I'd say she's acting more like a 7-month-old dog. And that will catch up now, especially with doing what we're doing today with the Munros and in the wild and watching her lead. You see, as I say, when she was going back to the hut, you could see leadership qualities coming out of a dog. She wasn't sat beside me. She wasn't tagging along behind me. She wasn't walking with her head down, looking tired. She was up front, tail erect. You know what I mean? Kind of sniffing, tracking, head, and I didn't get a chance. Sadly, I didn't get a chance to test her at the hut to see if she'd bring me right to the door, because they all wanted to run through a load of mud near the hut. So I had to take them down to the river and make sure they had washed all that off before I brought them in. Otherwise, they'd be stinking. So I didn't get that chance, sadly. But it showed. She's not nervous, not frail. She's quite advanced that way, and she's got all the potential you want. So at the end of the day, she's going to turn out a cracking dog. Same with her weight. Her weight is coming on. It's only a bit here and a bit there, but it's growing. So she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. Meanwhile, as I said, Stella, which I thought was on her last legs, she started getting better. Not in the sense great, but improving from the quality of life she was having before with the wrong drug. And this new drug seems to be helping her out no end. So I've now got 3 males. I literally did think at one point Stella wouldn't last. I got to be honest, I didn't think more than 2 or 3 weeks the way she was looking. She was looking miserable. She was struggling. As I said, we walked 2 miles back to Sandwood Bay from that boffy, and I've never seen her look so glum and so down. Rebel, stop licking my boots, please. He's licking my boots in the background. So that's the story about Rogue. It's just, I think, when you have males, and I'm sorry if this bit's going on quite long. This section. I didn't plan it to, but I have to be open and talk to people, and people will be watching this and see my dogs and go, "Oh, it looks great. I want one of them or two of them or whatever." Males are extremely hard dogs to work with. Why? Because they're hyperactive. Two, they're like kids that are eating loads of sugar. A hyperactive kid that's, had an overdose of sugar, they're bouncing around all over the place. That is not one day. That's not 2 days. That's all the time. So if you try and lay into them and kind of be aggressive, they'll respond to that by either getting nervous and then turning aggressive themselves. If you are too lax, they'll just destroy your home. They'll take over. As I said, that barking thing will turn into ripping up the house, ripping up your car, ripping up anything you like, destroying, just destructive behaviour, because they're not getting the attention they want. They try barking, so what they do is they start shredding your house. So when people come back to the homes and find their homes destroyed, like the carpet ripped out, it's the dog is saying to you, "I'm not happy. I've been left alone. I don't care if it was an hour or 2 hours. I want more attention." You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, if you're not exercising and burning that energy, they've got so much adrenaline in their bodies, if you're not burning that off, then when you walk out the door to do shopping for maybe an hour, you're going to come back and find your house destroyed. Yes, you can put them in a crate and leave them in there for 2 hours and go shopping, fine. But once you let them out, they're going to be bouncing around the house like a rubber ball. They're still going to need that energy burning off them. So you're going to have to go out in that pouring rain, in the snow or whatever. And as I say, to have 3 dogs, 3 males, unbelievably crazy. I can feel the difference myself between 2 and 3. I cannot even imagine having 4. So going back on my point, is I don't think it was my friend's fault. As I say, we just kept in contact for me selling the pup. I got to know them. I haven't been down to see them much, but I still class them as a friend because we laugh and joke and, have a tease. So it's weird. I'm not a people person. So when I say friend, I say it in brackets because I don't have that many friends. I'm not a negative person or anything like that. I just like my own personal space. Dogs in my life, It's not because I've been hurt or anything like that in the past. It's just the way I've grown up. Always with dogs. So my life is always about dogs. That's why I like the wilderness. It's not me escaping from anyone or running away from anyone. It's me enjoying that peace and quiet in that time. My time, me time. But going back to my point, having 3, I can feel the difference myself, and I'm experienced. I've had working dogs since 17. I'm 63 now, so you work out the years I've had dogs. And to take one male, don't forget, one male is going to look at you, and you're going to be the centre of attention. So at the end of the day, it's going to be you and the male, and the male is going to want you to exercise it, you to keep it busy, you to do training with it and everything. It's going to be looking at you. So, I have 2 because when they're out, as you saw in the hills and all that, they're bouncing off each other. It takes a lot of stress off me because I know they're burning that energy whilst I am walking or hiking, enjoying the views. The only thing about that is you've got to keep your eyes open because they can, one minute be beside you, next minute be a mile away, so you've got to be alert to them. So that's the story about Rogue, and that's what's happening with Stella, and hopefully Stella will last good. I'd love it to last a year or 2 more. We'll see how it goes. Medications are weird. They can work for 6 months and then the medication might just stop working in the body. You just don't know. And then we might have to try something else. So it's long-winded, and I'm sorry if I have bored anyone, but my channel is K9 Outdoors, and it is about the dogs being outdoors. And as I've always said, my dogs, and I talk and laugh and joke and said they're my babies or my kids or whatever, children or whatever. I never believe they are. It's just it's a matter of a phrase of words. My dogs are dogs. They're always going to be dogs. They don't go on chairs. They don't go on my bed. I don't pamper them like with treats and all that, They're dogs. They have food, they exercise, and we do training. They're dogs. And I tell you, they're more balanced for being dogs. the minute you start putting them on your beds, and I'm not criticising anyone that puts their dogs on the beds, I'm telling you what will happen. The minute you put them on the bed, on the chairs, standing on stairs looking down at you, letting them out the door before you, and all that stories you always hear, that's when you're putting them on an equal plane to you. And a dog is not an equal plane. A dog likes to work for you. A dog likes to do the jobs it's been trained to do, or grown up through the generations, you know, it's been bred for. So you've got to remember that. But as I say, people will do their own thing. And trust me, I fuss these sometimes. But I'm not over fusser again, because I want them to see me as a leader. Dogs respond better to a leader. They're always looking for a leader. We are now a pack. 4 of us are now a pack. So if I'm soft and soppy, what will happen is the dogs will start fighting between themselves to find out who is the boss. And it will get nasty, and sometimes it will get very nasty and serious injuries. Trust me, this kind of breed, as well as other working breeds like German Shepherds and all that, if you have 4 of them and you're not the leader, they'll take control. And one of them will turn out to be the leader, and trust me, you will be far down the list then. So that's the story about Rogue. I'm sorry if it's long-winded, but as I say, this channel is K9 Outdoors, and I am trying to show people about bringing the dogs out on the trails and all that. You do different things than me. I'm not saying you're wrong. You'll think different things than me. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that this is the way I do it, and it's never caused me any problems over the, from 17 to 63. So, you know what I mean? I think I do know what I'm doing now. But anyway, hope that helps you, just in case anyone's considering buying one of these, because trust me, they're not a beginner's dog. And sadly, the UK dog breeding program or whatever, we're seeing a lot of males being put out now and being sold to inexperienced owners, and they're going to destroy the breed, and they're also going to cause so many issues for the breed, because they will be getting out of control, and there'll be attacks and biting incidents and everything. Right, as I say, I hope that helps someone, and I hope that's explained things. See you later. Welcome to the sauna. Whew. I've only got 2 big logs, let's be correct, in there. But the burning's so slow, but the heat generated from them, because it's so mild out, literally furnace in here is beautiful. We're all going to be stripped right off. Can anything else be better than being out in the mountains? A log fire, tired dogs, and a stag walking around outside, around the hut, and keeps tapping the hut with his antlers to let you know he's there. I think he's trying to say, give me some food. Oh dear, that's going to cause me a problem when I go out, innit, with the dogs. I found last night he don't like torchlight. When he sees the torch, he seems to shy away from the torch, so I might have to go out there and beam him. Could be like one of them horror films, being stalked by a deer around your hut. Playing psychological games. I reckon, because I've got lights on and the windows, you know, they can see the light from the windows. I guess he's learnt. If he sees the light on, he knows people are in this place, and he comes out, and some people have sadly fed him. And that's what happens. You end up turning a wild animal into a tame animal, and we don't want that. Because in the end, they shoot him anyway. So imagine he goes walking up to someone with a rifle and they'll shoot him on you. Just got in from walking the dogs, got waterproofs on, I had to put my wet boots on. Had to let them out, do their business. Oh dear. I'll tell you why I'm laughing. So, I put my waterproofs on, put my wet boots on. I think dogs need to go out, I know that they need to. My main concern is the stag. I know every now and then you can hear him bump the cabin. Probably every hour or so. So he is snooping around. So I know the stag is somewhere around, but where? So I get all my waterproofs on, put my head torch on, put it on the high beam, go out, take one of my hiking poles there, and I think if he does get too close, I can just jab him away because he's got the antlers, I ain't got the reach. So check around the cabin, no sign. Scan, I mean, the grass is really tall, it's about 2 to 3 foot in places high. So if he was sitting there, you wouldn't see him. But I'm scanning around with a head torch and I can't see him. So I think it's clear. So I let the dogs out, keep them close to me, and then we go down to the track, and I like to walk them because I don't want them doing any of their business near the hut. And if they do, I bag it up and I'm going to bury it later. I've got 3 lots I've got to bury tomorrow. And biodegradable bags, so they'll be fine. But anyway, I don't want to go off subject. So I'm going down the track. I like to walk them a short distance away from the hut. And I can see some eyes in the distance. So I'm thinking, oh, that's where the stag is. So I can see him. He's quite a way down the track. So I think, oh, we're okay. So I let the dogs do their business. Make sure it's pouring down rain outside. Pitch black. You can't see. Even with a head torch, you can hardly see much. It's one of them really dark nights. So I'm thinking, no problem. Get the dogs in. Thank God for that. No confrontation with the dogs and the stag. That's all I'm worried about. Me, I skirt around him. I went out this morning to do my business, and he was in the area and he didn't bother me. We kept our distance and we were fine. Even when I'm taking photos, I keep a reasonable distance. I don't want to spook and whatever. But anyway, so I get the dogs in and I think 2 things I've got to do. She did a poop near the cabin, so I've got to pick that up. So I did that. And I've got to get some water, because during the night, if they run out of water, I don't fancy walking down to the river. It's only about 50 yards away, but it's pitch black. You could easily fall in. It's that dark. So I'm skirting around with a head torch just in case he's caught up with us. You know, he hasn't, because I ain't seen anything come up the track. So I'm skirting around, nervous like you do, looking left, looking right, go down to get the water. And yesterday evening, he liked to hang around near the water. So I'd scanned down as I was going down, I couldn't see him. So I'm collecting the water in the platypus bag. And I turn around and he's only lying down on the cobbles, don't ask me why, on the cobbles under a tree, watching me. About 50 feet away. Oh dear. I could see he was okay, he was just relaxed, so I wasn't worried, but oh, you can't see anything out there. It's pitch black. I mean, he could be 10 feet, 5 feet away from you. You wouldn't see him sometimes. I don't think it means any problem, but imagine, you know, it's pitch black and you come across a full-grown stag that's got the antlers and all that, and you know, they stand about 3 or 4 feet above me, and I'm 5'8". So he's a big boy. So it's not the kind of thing you want to bump into in the dark with them antlers. But so funny. I thought I got it sussed, and I thought he was down the track. That must be another deer. But he was sitting under the tree. He's a loner. I don't know what he does. He just hangs around. So funny. He was sitting under the tree. He's pouring down the rain. He's relaxing. He's on the cobbles though. You'd think he'd go somewhere where it's nice and soft. But he was watching me collecting the water. It was so funny. Anyway, dogs are done. I can take waterproofs. Anything they need to do now will just be simple things just outside the door. I can keep them within range. So that's that problem. After all that, I've not even had a chance to have a wee. Typical, isn't it? Eh? Right, I can get waterproofs and my wet boots off again. But so funny. Just shows. You don't know what's out there, do you? Made me laugh anyway.